Chapter 15. Hook, Line, and Sinker. You get it? Shelley asked Enrique as he appeared by the bike rack at the aquarium the next morning. Feeling jittery and scared, she had raced as fast as she could to meet Enrique. When she'd woken up that morning, she noticed her skin was starting to take on a greenish sheen. Scales had also started to appear on her arms, delicate and smooth like those of a fish. She wore long sleeves to hide them and kept them pulled down over her hands. She didn't have much time. She felt tense. If Enrique had failed at what he'd set out to do, she didn't know what else they could try. But he winked at her. "Mission accomplished," he said with a grin. Pulling the card out of his back pocket, he handed it over. The ID card showed the pimply face of his brother Miguel. Uneven bangs flopped into his brown eyes. Student was printed over the crest for Triton Bay College, which featured a Triton and a mermaid. It's our ticket into the science library at the college, with the special Triton Bay archives. Enrique went on. But we need to hurry before my brother notices I took it. Wait, you didn't tell him? Asked Shelley. That I needed to borrow it from my friend who's turning into a fish because she made a bad deal with a sea witch? Figured the less he knew, the better. Shelley smiled. Point taken. Look, he's working here for a few more hours, so the sooner we get back, the better. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. They got on their bikes, and Enrique took off. Shelley was about to pedal after him when two other figures on bikes appeared in the distance, careering down the path. A minute later, they skidded to a halt next to her, kicking up sand. Shelley stared in shock. Atina? Alana? What are you doing here? She asked. The twins exchanged conspiratorial glances. Well, you've been acting so weird lately, Alana said with a smirk. Like how you ran into the locker room all freaked out after the last race. And Kendall said something too. Yeah, about you cheating, Atina added. Oh, and that maybe you're turning into a fish. Yeah, she told us about the webbing on your hands, which would explain your super swim powers, Alana added. It doesn't take a marine biologist to put it together. I mean, something has to be going on, right? So we decided to follow you, Atina said, sharing a guilty look with her twin sister. I mean, we were worried about you. You're our friend, right? But what about Kendall? Shelley stammered. She hates me now. Atina rolled her eyes and sighed deeply. Look, we never liked her that much either. You're not the only one she bullies and orders around, you know? And we're sick of it, Alana nodded. Plus, we're your friends, Atina said. Friends help friends. Enrique circled back around, skidding up on his bike. He grinned when he saw Shelley with her friends. Oh, so this is the holdup? He asked. The twins grinned and batted their eyelashes at him. Shelley felt a surge of gratitude. My friends, they came to help us. The more the merrier, he said. We need all the help we can get. Triton Bay College was located across the bay from the aquarium, perched on a sheer cliff overlooking the water. Waves swelled up against the steep, rocky incline. Shelley got dizzy just looking down over the side. They parked their bikes, then circled up to brief Atina and Alana on the wild events. An actual sea witch? Atina said. Like in the old stories? Yep, the old stories aren't just stories, Shelley said, pulling off her scarf to show them her gills. Turns out they're real. The twins stared in shock, but their shock turned to fascination. Wow, that is so cool, Alana said. This is way exciting. Beats swim practice. College students milled around campus, clutching bags stuffed with books and laptops, while seagulls and pelicans swooped overhead, diving past the cliff to the sea in search of food. The college was famous for its marine biology department. Shelley had always dreamed of going there when she got older. Feeling a stab of anxiety, she pulled her sleeves down farther. Never in a million years had she imagined that her first trip to the science library would be like this. Enrique glanced around to make sure nobody was watching. The students were too busy rushing to class to notice a few kids in hoodies who looked way too young to be enrolled there. They hurried across campus to the science library, a modern and sleek two-story building. Shelley turned to Atina and Alana. "You two wait out here and keep watch, okay? Text us if anybody gets suspicious," Enrique added. "Or if you spot my brother. Hopefully he won't notice that I swiped his ID card and come looking for me." "We're on it," the twins said together, settling on a nearby bench. They pulled books from their backpacks and tried to blend in with the students around them. Satisfied that their lookouts were in place, Enrique swiped his brother's ID through the scanner on the door. Shelley glanced out at the ocean, where it looked like a storm was brewing. She held her breath, praying the ID card worked. "Come on, unlock," she said with a low voice. "Before Ursula catches on to what we're doing, she won't like it." After what seemed like an eternity, the scanner finally beeped and turned green. The door unlocked with a click. Enrique glanced back at the ocean. "Yeah, that storm doesn't look natural." "It's hers," Shelley said ominously. "Let's hurry." Enrique yanked the door open, and they slipped inside. The artificial cold of air conditioning hit them. The corridor was well lit, but that made it worse. They weren't supposed to be in there. "This way," Enrique said, taking her hand. Her scaly green skin was sensitive. A shiver ran up her spine at his touch. He pulled her down the hallway. Signs on the wall directed them towards the archives. They reached a door printed with a sign that read, "Restricted. College students and staff only." Shelley felt a jolt when she read it. She glanced down the hallway, but it was deserted. "Here goes nothing," Enrique said, swiping his brother's ID in the scanner. It unlocked with a beep and admitted them into the library. They slipped inside, hurrying past the check-in desk before anyone could ask for IDs. Fortunately, the librarian was too busy checking in books to notice. The library was lit with pools of light spilling down from chandeliers overhead. Bay windows spanned the entire wall, overlooking the sea. It was a stunning room built from old wood paneling and filled with rows of shelves stacked to the ceiling with books. A few students, absorbed in research, huddled over their laptops at desks that were piled high with messy stack of books. A general hush seemed to envelop the room. It was eerie. Just the tap-tap-tap of fingers hitting keyboards. "Hurry up, come with me," Enrique said, pulling her toward the back of the library. They found their way down rows and rows of shelves. The farther back they went, the dimmer the light grew and the dustier the stacks became. Shelley sneezed twice in quick succession. That area of the library looked like it got little traffic, like nobody had touched the shelves in ages. Enrique came to a halt in front of another door marked by a bronze placard. Triton Bay Historical Archives. "This is it," Enrique said, swiping the ID card in the scanner. The door beeped and unlocked. The lights inside were off, but the second they entered, a sensor triggered them to flicker on. Shelley felt a tickle in her nose and the urge to sneeze again. This room smelled even more like dust and decaying paper. It smelled ancient. The books in there appeared far older than the books in the main library. Tables were positioned around the room, displaying under thick glass books that featured old maps of Triton Bay. She ran her fingers over the glass, taking in the beautiful images. They looked hand-drawn and inked. She followed Enrique over a bank of computers labeled Digital Archives. The prompt demanded a username and password. Shelley frowned at the blinking cursor. "How are we going to log in?" Enrique arched his eyebrow, then sat down at the computer. His fingers flew over the keyboard. He typed in his brother's first initial, and last name, then entered a password. "Here goes nothing," he said, hitting return. They both held their breath. A second later, the password screen dissolved, revealing a search prompt. She looked at him, impressed. "You can hack into a computer?" "Huh, I wish," he said with a smirk. "Miguel uses the same password for everything." "Brothers," she said with a nod. "Can't live with him, can't live without him." They turned their attention to the monitor. Enrique typed in some search terms. Sea Witch, Triton Bay, Myth, Sailors. The search icon spun. A few seconds later, results flooded the screen, spanning down the monitor. Shelley scanned them quickly. Her heart lurched when she saw the title of the archived documents, The Sea Witch and the Triton. "Click on that one," she said, pointing to it. Enrique did. It appeared to be an old Triton Bay fairy tale. They both scanned the story, reading the flowing handwritten text that had been archived in the online database. Shelley read it aloud. "Once upon a time, a powerful Triton belonged to King Triton. It granted him the power to control the ocean and all the creatures in it. Whoever possessed the Triton would automatically become the most powerful creature in the sea, and could also wreak havoc on the world above if they so chose. That's why the Sea Witch would do anything to get it. One night, she tried to kill King Triton and take the Triton from him, but he vanquished her in a great sea battle, diminishing her power. The king knew that the Sea Witch couldn't be trusted, so he used the Triton to place a powerful spell on her that confined her to Triton Bay. Thus, the bay became her prison, where she would live out the rest of her days." "There we have it," said Enrique. Shelley nodded at the monitor. "Look, there's more." Enrique read. But the king was still unsatisfied. He put a spell on the Triton to protect it from falling into the wrong hands and hid it somewhere safe. According to the legends, nobody knew exactly where it was hidden. "Until now," Shelley said, looking up from the computer. Enrique thought for a moment. "It makes sense, right? The Sea Witch can't leave the bay. The aquarium is on dry land, so she can't get the Triton. Hiding the Triton in plain sight is perfect camouflage," Shelley said. "Yep, it's brilliant," he agreed. "Everyone just thinks it's a fake aquarium prop." "So is this why the Sea Witch wants the Triton?" she said, tapping the screen. "To break the curse and escape from the bay?" "Maybe, but it could be more sinister than that." He pointed to a line in the story. "If she gets the Triton, then she'll be able to control the ocean and all the creatures in it. Think about what the Sea Witch could do with that kind of power. You said yourself you don't trust her." "You're right. It could be devastating." Her voice trailed off. The words made them both feel afraid. She rolled up her sleeves, revealing her silvery green scales. "What am I supposed to do? I'm turning into a fish. This is the only way to get her to reverse the curse." Enrique looked uneasy. Suddenly, the lights flickered. They both looked around. The wind whipped up outside the windows, and lightning strobed in the sky, bolting down and striking the sea. The lights in the library flickered again, as if they'd go out at any moment. Shelley's phone went off, making them both jump. She pulled it out and showed Enrique. New message from Atina. "This storm is getting worse. There's something strange glowing in the water. Please hurry." "This doesn't sound good," Shelley muttered, softly. With trepidation, she approached the window and pressed her hands to the glass. Below their cliffside perch, the waves in the bay churned and surged unnaturally. Thick gray clouds swirled and gathered overhead, pulsing with lightning. One bolt struck with water with a brilliant flash. The lights in the room kept flickering. Suddenly, something smacked the glass right by her head.